Least deranged ANCAP.
If America loves democracy so much, why don't we have democracy in the workplace? Like, we love freedom, but when we go into work, we just start taking orders from someone, no questions asked. How about the workers choose their managers rather than the other way around? How about when management is coming up with policies that directly affect the worker, why don't the workers have a say in creating those policies?
Okay, so the first guy is classic. This is like, first guy is a Richard Wolf Andy. Okay, I already know. Of course, I don't personally disagree with that take. I agree with it, but it's a classic Richard Wolf Andy. Let's see what he has to say, though. This guy looks like he's about to intellectually dismantle him, okay?
This is incredibly stupid. First of all, logically, just because something affects you doesn't mean you should have a say in it. If 50 people...
Wait, what? Just because logically? Bro, you can't just say logically and then say whatever the f you want after it, and then people will be like, well, that guy's logical. See, logically, unicorns should exist, just like the free market. It does. Oh my God, he has his IQ. Oh no. Oh no. I'm Ben, IQ 137. Oh no. Dude, okay. Listen. I don't want to be rude, but okay, I'm lying. I do want to be rude. Motherfuckers like this who think they're going to thrive in an Ancapistan type civilization, who think that, like, you know, they're going to logic their way into like owning a factory or whatever. No, bitch. You and your family will be enslaved by me, okay? I'm just letting you know right now. Ancapistan, you will be my slave. You will not be the factory owner. You will not be enslaving others. You will be my slave. And then I will be Elon Musk's slave, okay? Please stop thinking that in an ANCAP deregulated society that you will thrive in that society. You will not, okay? If you're not thriving in this situation, you're not thriving in that one.
People walk into my home now just because they're going to be affected by the conditions of my house. That does not mean that they get a say in what I do. It is...
Wait, what? No, they absolutely do get a fucking... That's literally not true. That's why there's like zoning restrictions and like, for example, if you have your friends that come over to your house and they have children and they fall into your fucking pool and die, like, you're absolutely liable for that, for not putting up a fucking pool gate. Okay, so that's not even true. Okay, let's keep going.
As far as democracy itself, democracy is a terrible system. I highly recommend reading Democracy, the God That Failed by Hans Hermann Hoppe, or The Myth of the Rational Voter by Brian Kaplan. Incorporating democracy into the work...
At least the ANCAP is like, you know, doing the reporting. Like, he basically is like, yeah, this doesn't work. Like, democracy is a failure. He's doing the, I am an anarcho-capitalist, and of course, because of that, I'm a fascist take. That's what it is. At least there's honesty in this. I'm really rational and really logical, and that's why I'm a fucking Nazi.
Workplace is something that has been tried many, many times. A democratized workplace is called a worker cooperative. Yugoslavia actually once had a system entirely made up of worker cooperatives. And this is a great paper from the London School of Economics analyzing.
Oh, I wonder what the London School of Economics had to say about fucking Yugoslavia, dude. Let's see.
This worker cooperative system in Yugoslavia increased unemployment, decreased job finding rates, even increased the natural rate of unemployment. At one point, more than 20% of the workforce was working in other countries because they couldn't find jobs.
Definitely better now. I'm glad that system, you know, that system failed so disastrously that it's now excellent now. Shit's popping the fuck off now, dude. Very good now. Much better. I know I say no Balkan talk, but come on, okay? Come the fuck on, dude.
So one of the major internal factors was distorted labor incentives. If your workplace is a democracy and not a meritocracy, you do not have incentives to perform better.
You don't have... Okay. Perform better by what metric, dude? By what metric? We never have this conversation. Every time people talk about efficiency, they're talking about efficiency from a capitalist point of view. And yes, if you look at efficiency from a capitalist point of view, obviously, other kinds of organizations are probably not going to look like they're performing better. You have to look at the different kinds of metrics that help, like turnover rate, the workplace conditions, the happiness metrics, even though they're very qualitative and difficult to fucking fully comprehend. You have to look at whether a system that is designed to benefit the many rather than the few is doing a good job of exacting that, okay? What it set out to do. Also, he said meritocracy is real, which is why I laugh. Obviously, it's not fucking real. Meritocracy is a lie. I'm a dumbass. Look at the amount of success I have. Meritocracy is a fucking lie. I work hard, okay? But I got very fortunate. Your spawn point is incredibly important for you, okay? That's why it's not that, America, pound for pound, has like way more fucking billionaires than all these other countries of the Western world has all these like incredibly successful people because they're just so brilliant. It's because they were born in a material, their spawn point was better than someone who was born in fucking Zimbabwe. That doesn't mean that there aren't like capable individuals in Zimbabwe if they were put through an exact same kind of system and get all of the same fucking material equality and the material conditions that the American has, the average American or the average Westerner has. Doesn't mean that they're not going to fucking succeed in a similar, if not even greater capacity, okay? It's so stupid. It's just a way for dummies to make themselves feel better, okay? But when you're this guy, when you're fucking Prax Ben, you're just bootlicking, okay? An anarchist, a Hoppian, neo-reactionary. Jesus Christ.
Was distorted labor incentives. If your workplace is a democracy and not a meritocracy, you do not.
You have, if your workplace is a democracy, you have distorted labor. You have distorted labor incentives, dude. Yeah, like what? Fucking better workplace conditions, like having better benefits, time off. I mean, even if we're not talking about a cooperative, you can literally take this exact same fucking argument and compare it to countries with higher rates of unionization versus countries with lower rates of unionization, because a cooperative ultimately is enacting the interests of the many, allowing workers to have a say in the process, allowing workers to have a say in how much of the profits go back to them versus how much of the profits actually go to, like, I don't know, marketing and shit like that. Its most reductive take, that's what this does, okay? Turning a workplace, which is an authoritarian style of governance, into something that's closer to a democracy. If you look at countries with higher unionization rates, their workers have significantly better benefits and their workers are significantly happier. That's it. There you go.
If your workplace is a democracy and not a meritocracy, you do not have incentives to perform better. Now,
perform better for who? Perform better for your boss? Amazon is a great example of this. Their efficiency is through the fucking roof, dude. But workers are pissing in bottles. Their efficiency is through the roof, but they have to have an ambulance outside of the fucking distribution center because it's a lot cheaper to fucking, send that ambulance back and forth to the hospital than to actually pay for the fucking AC. They're performing really well, though. The efficiency is high. Is that good? No. I feel like maybe there should be a better balance here. If only there was a way to have a say, to have a seat at the table. I'm not saying that the end all be all is cooperative corporations. I don't think that like everything should be a co-op. Okay. I'm not one of those individuals, but it's a good start. A lot better than fucking having an authoritarian, an inarguably authoritarian way of organizing your workplace, which is what we exist under currently.
Our empirical findings reveal that long-standing labor voice in corporate governance is associated with significantly depressed shareholder value, sale growth, and job creation.
No way, dude. No way. Are you telling me that shareholder value diminishes when workers have a say, dude? What? Fuck. That's it, bro. Yeah, that's the point, idiot. Of course. Of course shareholder value is going to decrease because that means that fucking place is redistributing profits, which is the surplus labor value extracted from the worker, in a better, more meaningful capacity back to the fucking workers that are generating it. And therefore, yes, shareholder values are decreasing. This isn't just me who recognizes this, okay? You don't have to be a fucking commie or whatever the fuck to notice this. CEOs notice it too. After all, that's precisely why all the fucking Forbes, the Fortune 500 top CEOs got together and wrote a letter to say, we need to shift our priorities away from increasing and improving shareholder value to increasing and improving stakeholder value, which also features community, which is like, whatever, symbolic bullshit, and also our workers. So they realize it too. They realize that wealth and income disparity and inequality has gotten to a point where workers are fucking like, this sucks. This fucking sucks. I'm going to go into Home Depot with 10 of my homies and we're going to steal as many hammers as we can so we can go fucking rob the goddamn Louis Vuitton store and maybe, make more money for Christmas time so we can pay rent. I cannot believe that capitalists got together and said that socialist organizations of the workplace, or cooperative organizations of the workplace that try to place the material conditions of the worker above those who do not actually add value, those workplaces are not as efficient under capitalist metrics of success. That's crazy.
There is an avoidance in certain types of investment, capital expenditure, R&D spending, and high-risk investments in general. The thing is, the average person isn't willing to make high-risk investments. So when you democratize the workplace, that's going to be reflected in the decision.
No way, that's terrible. That's terrible, dude. What? No high-risk investments? What the fuck, dude? That sucks. Bro, this motherfucker's literally saying when workers have a say in the seat of the table on what to do with the profits that they generate through their labor, if workers have a say in what to do with the profits of the company, they end up saying, hey, maybe we should spend some of that we generated back on ourselves. And also, high-risk investments have obviously never caused chaos. I assume Prax Ben was born in 2009, so he's unaware of anything that has happened throughout history since then. Prioritizing safety and workplace conditions and better benefits for the workers that ultimately generate the profits regardless and create all the value is the appropriate way to go forward. It might not be the most efficient way from a capitalist mode of production standpoint, but it's still the right thing to do. It's the fair, more importantly than that, it's the fair thing to do.
Higher time preference, and capitalists generally have a lower time preference. So owners are willing to make these high-risk investments that will bring in high rewards down the road. This results in more growth and job creation.
Yeah, totally, dude. Owners wanting to improve shareholder value and boards and corporations wanting to consistently grow and consistently increase shareholder value has been great for the American working class. Oh my God, so good. That's why, when you go to Syracuse, for example, it's a wonderful, robust city that still has a blossoming economy. Or when you go to anywhere in the fucking Rust Belt, go to West Virginia, for example. Oh man, owners creating so many more fucking jobs out there. It's sick. It's sick. Oh wait, that didn't happen because they fucking moved manufacturing overseas. No, that isn't happening because they wanted to improve their margins. They wanted to increase shareholder value. And that's precisely what happened. Look at Detroit. Everywhere else, everywhere in the wealthiest nation on earth, we have fucking ghost towns. We have been prioritizing the interests of the wealthy that never even stepped foot in the fucking factory floor, okay? And that could be all of you and even myself in some meaningful capacity because this is just a financialized economy. There's nothing else to do. If you want to even have a nest egg, if you don't want to work for the rest of your fucking life, you have to get a 401k, for example, because we don't even have social safety nets. We don't even have adequate social safety nets for people who are no longer productive laborers, okay? In that system, we prioritize people that are putting money into the stock market rather than people who are actually doing the productive labor. It's hilarious. He's basically arguing that worker co-ops are bad because they don't do capitalism as well. Such an inherent bias from the super rational objective, dude. That's precisely what he's doing here.
They found that worker cooperatives tended to have lower pay, and worker cooperatives were constrained by financial difficulties, management inexperience, and interpersonal rivalry.
This is the funnest Gish Gallop I've ever engaged in. Obviously, I'm not going to fucking go through every single one of these or every single one of these fucking journals that he is citing here. But once again, the journals he's citing are looking at socialized workplaces from a capitalist mode of production standpoint. So, of course, the metrics that they've designed the game for are going to be for capitalist metrics. But not only that, but also the last thing I was going to say is like, there aren't that many worker cooperatives. The way that our economy works is that there aren't that many worker cooperatives. The idea that they're getting paid lower wages is a falsehood. Even unions, which are more or less an entry point, okay? Unions, and there is a million different kinds of empirical studies conducted on this, universally increase your wages. Unions not only increase the wages and also improve the workplace benefits for all the workers that are recently unionized or unionized in general, but they also tend to have a 10% boost on wages across the board in that similar sector. Okay, so this idea that unions or more democracy in the workplace is a burden on people's wages, it works in a depressive capacity, is completely false.
And worker cooperatives made a modest, if any, contribution to the creation of new and good jobs. Yes, people make...
What new and good jobs? What is new and good jobs? You can't just be like fucking throwing out when you're looking at a study and you're reading out the conclusion of a study from like child murder pedophilia university's blood-sucking parasite study on capitalism is so poggers. You can't just like look at that and be like, oh, they're good and new jobs. What the fuck does that mean? What's a good job? You're not creating more CEOs or something? Like, what the fuck? What, I don't understand. The only way that like wages could decrease technically in a more democratized workplace would be if the CEO wages and the upper level management wages are lowered because That's what they voted on.
Democracy doesn't work. Look at our last two presidents, Joe Biden and Donald Trump. You really want to bring that kind of decision making to the workplace?
Why is an anarcho-capitalist claiming that democracy doesn't work? You're so pro-capitalist that there's no anarcho left in it, which is, of course, anarcho-capitalism is oxymoronic regardless. Anarchism and capitalism clearly do not work because there's no voluntary, cooperative fucking way of working in a capitalist workplace. He's literally also making an argument entirely on the side of authoritarianism and fascism. He's just like straight up a fucking fash. He's just openly admitting that.
Where it suddenly becomes a popularity contest instead of someone who's good at investment, good at business, and has
popularity contest versus someone who's good at investment and good at business. Again, throwing idiotic fucking terms in there that make no sense whatsoever. Someone who's good at investment. Someone who's good at investment is just someone who has a lot of fucking capital, brother. Okay? Someone who has a lot of fucking capital can be good at investment. How? They put $10,000 into every single fucking VC, every single startup that they can, with the hopes that there's going to be a fucking whale in there. Gary Vaynerchuk is a good at investment. Andy, someone who's good at business. Even fucking Warren Buffett, who is one of the most prolific and best investors in the fucking game, has openly talked about how no hedge fund, not a single hedge fund, could beat the market over, 2 decades or over a single decade, because they just can't. You can have good returns on a single year, and then you can fucking have major losses in another. You can't outcompete the market, no matter how good of an investor you are, no matter how good at business you are. Wait, would you like to hear 137 IQ ANCAP, how to fix healthcare?
Are so expensive, and what should we do about it? The main reason is a lack of competition. We have very few doctors, much less doctors than we actually need.
Okay. I mean, let's make med school free. I'm on board with that. Let's make med school free. I think that's a good way to do that. Free med school, free college in general.
One of the reasons for this is the American Medical Association works on limiting the amount of medical schools and the graduates for those medical schools.
Dude, what? Yo, I love the American Enterprise Institute, dude. My man's like, you know what we need to do? We need more chiropractors with MDs, okay? That's what we need to do. Lower the restriction on who can be a doctor. So what about all these other countries where there are more doctors per capita than the United States? Do they have less restrictive processes on who gets to become a doctor? Is that how that works? It's the unions, dude? That's why? What about the NHS? What about all of the fucking European countries where there are more doctors per capita, for example? What's going on? Is it because they deregulated? No.
Another way in which competition is destroyed is certificate of need laws. With these laws, you have to provide proof to your federal or state government that your hospital or hospital equipment is needed. For example, if I want to add 200 more beds to my hospital, I have to prove that I need those 200 beds, instead of just being able to freely buy them. Or if I want to build a new hospital, a second hospital in an area so it can compete and have competitive prices, I have to prove it's actually needed. Now, one hospital may provide for the needs of the community, but then they can just end up having a monopoly in that community and charge high prices. But if someone is able to build a second hospital, then they can compete.
We need to deregulate hospitals is like not the... I mean, this is your brain on libertarianism. This dude is actually one step removed from talking about the baby marketplace, okay? Yeah, guys, instead of having a monopoly in one individual area with hospitals, we need to have a duopoly, okay? That would be so much better. Oh, wait, that already happens. Okay. What we need to do is build hospitals with no regulations. Like, why would the hospitals cut prices, dude? More supply would mean that the prices would be cut. Why would they do that? They have no incentive to do that. They will never do that. There's inelastic demand, brother. You know, you clearly took the Econ 101 course. You know micro and macroeconomic principles. You took both of those courses probably, or at least you're acting like you did. You learned about inelastic demand. How do you get providers of a good or a service or a commodity with inelastic demand to behave in a way that yields the best possible results? Can't do that. Oh, you just open up the supply. That's how you do it. Oh, like it's not going to happen.
There's been many studies on certificate of need laws that show very bad effects. We do not need these. We need to get rid of these.
How about, I don't know, looking at any number of studies conducted on this matter, not from the point of view of like deregulation, but actually from the point of view of socialization, okay? It's like impossible to look at this subject and not find a single fucking study that shows that socializing healthcare or nationalizing healthcare yields better results. How did you avoid all of that and go straight to the American Enterprise Institute that's about like a very weird random way to just like fucking lower healthcare prices by like 10 cents? I really don't understand how I mean, good for him. He must have searched long and hard for this.
More examples of restricted competition leading to higher prices is drug patents. We should not have drug patents.
Wait, okay, I agree with this one. So, respect.
Especially on necessary and life-saving drugs. There is no reason that you should have a monopoly on a life-saving drug.
Wait a minute, but like, that's the only reason why people, do innovative things is because, you know, they want to fucking maintain their patent and, you know, it's their profits to have. Like, this contradicts his entire worldview on anything else, by the way. And he is right, though. We should not have patents.
These government-protected monopolies are the highest driving factor of our high drug prices in the United States. Generic drugs saved us almost $300 billion in 2017 alone. We need more generic drugs. We do not need drug patents.
I completely agree with that take. Straight up, I'll admit it. I completely agree with that take. He is absolutely right.
These are things everyone should support. I don't care if you're a communist, a libertarian, a Republican, or a Democrat. Only corrupt politicians and people in big pharma actually support these things.
I don't like hospital monopolization, but once again, I don't know if deregulating the hospitals is going to solve that problem.